Page 20. Employment. Page 21. 3. Employment and decent wages. The employment of Spaniards is the basis of their well-being and freedom. The families of workers and self-employed workers have been suffering for years from fiscal asphyxiation policies, the relocation of companies and the general reduction in salaries. The Sanchez government has aggravated the access and quality of jobs in Spain with its socialist and globalist policies, destruction of our industry, attack on the countryside, unfair foreign competition, uncontrolled immigration, gender quotas, and an ultimatum between a decent salary or power spend time with a family. Faced with this, the ultra-subsidized unions, instead of defending the workers, have betrayed them to preserve their privileges, becoming lackeys of the government and whitewashing the precariousness that Spaniards suffer today. At VOX we are clear, all jobs are essential because behind each worker there is a Spaniard with his or her sorrows, anguish and worries. For this reason, we will protect Spanish workers to provide them with real opportunities and sufficient material conditions, economic stability, decent salaries, schedules that facilitate work-life balance, non-impersonal jobs, and the possibility of making a home in their own land. Page 22. Our measures. 30. While the government said it would raise the SMI to help Spaniards, it raised taxes even more and prices skyrocketed, cutting off the purchasing power of Spaniards and lowering their real wages. We will promote the rise of all salaries, especially the lowest ones. So that this does not lead to job destruction, we will drastically reduce the burdens on companies and the abusive regulations that harm job creation. In Spain there are miserable salaries and unacceptable unemployment because everyone's work supports the welfare state of politicians and their paid activists. 31. We will promote stable, long-lasting, and quality employment by reducing contributions to companies that hire Spanish workers indefinitely, giving a 100% bonus to new jobs created during the first year for any age, and 50% in the second year. We will effectively guarantee the right to work by prohibiting coercive actions in political strikes. We will increase incentives for the stable hiring of young people, those over 45 years of age, pregnant women, and parents of children with disabilities. 32. We will reject globalist impositions that remain silent about those truly responsible for pollution in the world while causing the closure of our industries and the destruction of thousands of jobs in Spain. We will take care of the environment through common sense, responsibility, and the protection of our economy, compatible with the economic development and well-being of the Spanish people. Page 23. 33. We will guarantee legal, orderly immigration adapted to the needs and possibilities of our labor market to ensure the employment of Spaniards and immigrants who, arriving legally, contribute their efforts and respect our way of life. 34. We will harshly sanction, including withdrawal of licenses, concessions, and authorizations, those who employ immigrants without a residence permit in exploitative conditions, harming the immigrants themselves and the balance of the national market and thus increasing poverty, unemployment, and precariousness among Spaniards, especially the most disadvantaged. 35. We will put an end to the territorial gap that harms Spanish workers and hinders their mobility, repealing all linguistic and discriminatory impositions of the autonomous communities. 36. We will decisively support self-employed workers by exonerating the fee for those whose net income does not reach the minimum interprofessional wage and giving a total bonus to self-employed workers who are on sick leave. At the same time, we will take the necessary measures to put an end to the figure of the full self-employed person that affects all areas of work. 37. We will combat the maternal gap by guaranteeing equal opportunities, subsidizing the cost for the employer during pregnancy and during any maternity-related leave, implementing deductions for hiring mothers, offering professional updating courses to facilitate their reintegration into the workforce and rejecting any quota policy that harms those women who have achieved their achievements through merit and ability. Page 24. 38. Our young people are victims of a vicious circle where they are only offered unemployment or precariousness. An unsustainable situation that the government's labor reform has made even worse. We will repeal Yolanda Díaz's labor reform that has disguised temporary employment figures without adopting real measures against precariousness, and that benefits the majority unions that have betrayed the workers. At the same time, we will promote a labor reform that listens to the true social agents. 39. We will move towards a legal and labor framework adapted to the increasingly common circumstances of teleworking, which can serve to improve conciliation as long as adequate working conditions are ensured. This new form of employment can also help many families have the freedom to leave large urban centers and return to their towns and cities. 40. we will closely connect the higher and university education system and businesses, and combine the financial support of unemployment benefits with effective training and professional updating measures. 41. We will improve the quality of vocational training and expand dual vocational training for better job placement, adapting to the needs of industries, businesses, and companies. In addition, we will promote local entrepreneurship and promote talent retention policies, both young and second chance for older people who have lost their jobs due to widespread processes of deindustrialization and cost reduction. Page 25. 41.1. We will promote the creation of special training centers to respond to the needs of the rural world, adapted to the primary sector in all regions of Spain. 41.2. We will relaunch learning and internship contracts with appropriate guarantees, effectively and immediately launching the reform of vocational training institutes and professional schools. 41.3. We will provide intern workers with protection and respect for their work comparable to any other worker, including adequate supervision, compensation for sufficient expenses or salary, and respect for their schedule and breaks. Our elders have been blackmailed with their pensions, and continue to do so, for partisan purposes while they sentence the future of our children. The long-term structural solution must be an increase in birth rates in the face of the demographic winter that is devastating our nation. We will ensure the sustainability of the pension system by dismantling the autonomous system, putting an end to administrative duplication, reducing the number of ministries, deputies, and parliaments, and ending political waste. Page 26. 43. The unions that should defend the workers have betrayed them, becoming lackeys of the political power in power. We will end all public subsidies for unions and employers, preventing them from being able to collect from the negotiation of the EIE and ERTE. We will demand the inspection, control, and reduction of union releases, and we will establish mandatory incorporation into their usual positions in situations of extreme need. We will establish the necessary controls to eliminate ghost union delegates in companies that have already been defunct. 44. We will promote and protect traditional and deep-rooted crafts and trades, a vigorous inheritance from our grandparents, through fiscal and credit measures, as well as recognizing the centuries-old tradition of cooperativism and the social economy in our nation, promoting the participation of workers in the companies. Page 27. Non-law proposal for the protection of self-employed workers, reviewing their fiscal framework, particularly personal income tax withholdings, as well as promoting administrative simplification, February 2023. Proposal for an organic law to protect the constitutional rights of workers and reinforcing the penalties contemplated in the Penal Code for criminal acts committed against workers. It also included the elimination of equality plans in companies, the punishment of strike pickets, the reform of company collective agreements, and the protection of the use of Spanish as a vehicular language throughout the national territory in the workplace, April 2023. Non-legal proposal to extend maternity leave and modify social security coverage and to promote the possibility of paying all paid hours in a single payment, in order to simplify administrative management for these purposes, December 2022. Non-legal proposal for the total compensation, by the self-employed, of the negative general tax base with the tax base of the positive savings of the personal income tax, due to the economic crisis derived from COVID-19, May 2021. Page 28. In the government of Castilla y León, VOX fulfilled its electoral commitment by reducing by €20.5 million the public money that the board gave each year to CCOO, UGT, and CEOE. This measure has meant a cut of more than 50% of the allocation they received from the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Employment, June 2022.